I have been stuck with terrible gesture drawings for the longest time because I kept practicing in the wrong way. But then I came up with 3 exercises that literally unlocked my hand and my eyes and made me go from this to this in almost no time. These 3 exercises are divided into 3 levels that are super simple, beginner friendly, and most importantly, they build one on top of each other, starting from ground zero. So I believe that anyone, literally anyone, can put them into practice right after watching this video. I mean, if even I made it. Also, for each level I will give you a bonus side quest that helped me so much to level up even further. So, let's start. So the very first step is to train your hand to do gesture. Because if you're anything like me, you started doing gesture with these short, confused lines with no direction. And you really don't want them. For gesture, you want to capture the essence of a pose in just a few long, fluid lines. To do this, I had to rewire my body, retrain my muscle memory, and start using a completely different articulation to draw, my shoulder, instead of using my wrist and my fingers to draw, like I was used to. And I'm sure this is the case for most of the beginners out there. So in order to do this, I started doing the most simple and intuitive thing ever. Pages over pages of long lines drawn using my shoulder. Remember, for gesture, you want to keep it simple and just use 3 types of line: C, S, and I. So take some cheap copy paper and start drawing lines over and over, but always using your shoulder. I know it's incredibly tedious and boring, but I swear in a matter of a few days, I managed to retrain my entire muscle memory and start using my shoulder to draw. And I never looked back ever since. And all my drawings, not only my gestures, benefit from this. Actually, I have another tip: don't do it digitally. This is personal preference, mainly because of the undo function, the Ctrl-Z. It is so much better that you start committing to your lines as early as possible in the process, to be more decisive in your lines and not afraid of committing mistakes. This will result in more confident lines, more confident gestures, and more confident drawings. Now, bonus side quest for this level. When first starting doing it, you may notice that the shoulder is way more difficult to control compared to your fingers or wrist. This is completely normal, you are not built wrong. Actually, I struggle with it a lot. And the best exercise that I found to solve this is actually a well-known exercise to warm up. I'm sure you already heard about it. Draw 2 random points and connect them using a C, S, or I, but always using your shoulder. And guess what? You know the drill. Do pages and pages of this. Maybe you will not always be perfect, but with this exercise you will start to train this new articulation that you are using to draw. Okay, we have the body in place. Now it's time to train your eyes to see the gesture. And notice that I didn't draw the hand before because I'm so terrified of them. But anyway, I remember I struggled so much with this because I was literally obsessed with the contour of my figure, of my reference. I was just seeing all the bumps and the details on the surface level of my reference. For gesture, you want almost to develop an X-ray vision and see what's underneath all that. And no, I'm not talking about the bones. The most immediate and easiest way to do this is to look for the line of action. The line of action is an imaginary line that runs through the body, top to bottom, and summarizes the movement, the stance of a pose. Now, the exercise that I found so helpful to start seeing it in any pose is to take an image, a reference, drop them into a drawing program this time, and just try to see and draw the line of action right on top of it, but always using those long fluid lines that we saw in the first exercise. And do it so many times that it becomes second nature. Let me know if you want a video about the line of action, but a quick tip to see the line of action in any pose is to look for the median point of the main 3 masses of the body: the head, the torso, and the pelvis. And just connect these 3 points with a long, fluid line. Don't go point to point, don't interrupt your line. Within a very short period of time of me doing this, I was able to ignore everything that was at the surface level of my reference and just look for the movement, for the essence of the pose, for the line of action. I am actually an animator, so I started doing it frame by frame on video reference too, paying attention to how the line of action changes during a motion. But you are totally free to do this on still images, of course. Bonus side quest for this second level. Okay, now that you found the line of action directly on the reference, it's time to draw the exaggerated version of it on the side. Exaggeration is so important in gesture drawing. Remember that a good gesture tells the story of the pose. And to tell a better, more beautiful story, you have to exaggerate. The faster you will learn this, the sooner your gesture will look amazing. And I've learned it in the hard and long way. Now, there are many ways to exaggerate a pose, so there are no right or wrong ways to do it. And tell me if you want a video about exaggeration, by the way. But a quick tip that I can give you right now is to think about what would you like to communicate with that pose, and push the line of action accordingly to tell that particular story. Is it an anticipation for a bigger action, so you want to make it even more compressed and squashed? Or is it the big action itself, a punch or a throw, so you want to push that thrust even more? Okay, for level 3, we will keep training your eyes. I'm so lazy. But we will take it a step further. The line of action tells a lot about the pose already. But it doesn't feel enough, right? So we need to tell more, but keeping it simple. For this, you need to know that in the body, there are other complementary lines of action that work in harmony with the main one. These are the second longest lines that you see in the body. Commonly, they are the line of the shoulders with the arms and the line of the hips and the legs. So for this last level, we will do the same thing that we did for the second one. We will look for these complementary lines of action, and we will trace these rhythms over the reference. And now you are seeing that it's starting to look like a gesture drawing, right? But remember, you always want to keep using those long, fluid lines that we discovered in level 1 and avoid the contour. Last side quest for this last exercise, it is basically the same of the previous one. Exaggerate. Now that you find and trace the main complementary rhythms over the reference, go on the side and just draw the exaggerated version of them. Always ask yourself, what story would I want to tell with this pose, with these few lines? I promise you, in no time, you will find easier and easier to exaggerate, to push your poses, because the same happened to me. Now, these exercises work very well for me, but if you have other exercises that work very well for you, first of all, how dare you? No, actually, I would love to try them, so let me know in the comments. But remember, at the end of the day, the real secret is just to practice, practice, and practice. And for that, I have other gesture drawing tips in this video right here. And I will see you on my next step.